"Is there a decent ladies' room around here?" I mumbled to the server. I shoved myself up out of my chair and then bent to snatch up my bag. She pointed me in the direction of the rear of the cafe. "It's clean and we like to keep it that way." As much as I was attempting to squeeze some actual manners for the day, since it was Shay and all, I didn't have time to offer an apology for suddenly having to bolt to the restroom. No stalls and, thankfully, no waiting. I locked the door behind me, knelt in front of the toilet, and gagged right into it. Something wanted to come up. It was whatever I'd felt deep down when Delia stared at me. Not only that, while I was used to my heart rate escalating during random intervals throughout the day, that time it was different. My heart was pounding hard at the gates, but it kept skipping a beat every so often, which forced me to calm down and take deep, steady breaths. I wasn't planning on having heart failure this weekend. Nevertheless, my endocrine system was having none of it, and I threw up everything I'd just eaten. I vomited just enough times to make my head throb and stab me again and again from behind my eyes. I won't chalk it up to food poisoning. That one's far too easy a scapegoat, and food poisoning effects don't often show up right away like that. I suppose I can readily claim the sudden need to purge on the usual benzo withdrawal suspect, but looking back on it now, right now, sometimes there are things one cannot easily explain away. Like the very idea, the very thought that Delia and her eyes, Delia in my head, had somehow, quite literally, made me sick. I rinsed away the sour taste at the sink and then wiped my mouth with a few paper towels. The place had the soft two-ply stuff that is often set out orderly and straight in a neat container in the middle of the two sinks. They were even absorbent enough to clean up all the water I'd splashed around in the sink when I was gargling and spitting. There was a light tapping of a knock on the ladies' room door, and I heard Shay's muffled voice say, "Hey, you doing okay in there? We're fixing to leave." "I'll be out in a minute," I said to the door. "Food here is crazy rich and heavy, sticking to my guts right now." "Don't be too long or we'll leave you stranded here with nothing to eat but crazy rich food, yo." "Wait. Yo? 1991's calling and wants vanilla ice back." "I mean it, Turdette. We gotta go. We're on at 7 and we're losing the rest of the afternoon here with all the Germanese descendants sitting around, eating their Schinkennudeln." "Hey now, I think that may have been offensive, Shay, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think Germanese is a real word, and Schinkennudeln just sounds like something that would make Mom batshit if she heard anybody say it," I said as I gaped at myself in the mirror over the sink. My hairstyle, in its chestnut-colored, perfectly pinned wide curls, didn't match the ashy complexion it was attempting to frame. "It's just ham and cheesy noodles. You know, the kind of food we were never allowed to eat because of Mom's ridiculous aversion to melted cheese. We so missed out when we were growing up." "Yeah, I get that. Shay, listen, would you tell everyone I'll be right out when I'm done here?" "Sure. Let's see if Mom decides to pay attention to me." There was a dark purple-blue tinge around both of my eyes, signaling to me that my concealer obviously hadn't done its job well. I just didn't want to turn to pancake makeup, as it clogged my pores something awful. Even still, though, Shay would demand I cover up the entirety of my face in a mask of Max Factor pan stick. A blood vessel had bloomed in one eye, staining part of the sclera in a tiny blotch of red. It was as if I hadn't slept in quite a long time. Truthfully, I hadn't, so I often had stray circles around my eyes, with some saggy baggage tossed in along the way. But I looked beyond exhausted there, and I could feel it all over my body, sluggishly rolling through my bones. It was the type of exhaustion where my soul had been stripped from me, leaving me feeling as if everything else was speeding by and whipping around me, and I was the only one there stuck in a puddle of treacle, unable to move without it gripping my feet, my arms, my head, my torso, everything about me.